Hold on tight, racing fans, because the MotoGP world just exploded at Jerez. Joan Mir's Spanish MotoGP weekend took a massive hit, a double long lap penalty after ignoring black and orange flags following a crash in wet practice. That's right, Mir rejoined the track with damage, and then continued to the pits, defying direct orders from race direction. And it doesn't stop there. Jorge Martin also faces a grid drop for disrupting Marc Marquez during practice. We'll break down all the drama coming up.
Never run out of battery again with the INIU portable charger, the slimmest 10,000 mAh power bank that keeps your devices charged on the go. Stay powered up wherever you go. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
But the surprises didn't end there. Marc Marquez snatched a stunning pole position at Jerez, but it wasn't without a fierce battle. Johann Zarco pushed the 9-time world champion to the absolute limit, even briefly taking the top spot before Marquez fought back. Marquez admitted he feared Zarco would beat him on the final lap, and it was a nail-biting finish with just 0.14s separating the two. Plus, Fabio Di Giannantonio landed a front-row start, feeling even better than his previous pole positions. Championship leader Marco Bezzecchi will start from 4th, but watch out for Jorge Martin, who's facing a 3-place grid penalty. The controversy is far from over. Johann Zarco is questioning the legality of Marc Marquez's winning move in the Spanish Grand Prix sprint, claiming Marquez shouldn't have one after cutting across the track following his crash. Zarco believes Marquez made the decision not to pit before the crash, and then exploited a loophole to rejoin the race. He argues that Marquez's actions were against the rules, and that the win should have gone to someone else. Race direction didn't investigate, but Zarco isn't letting it go. And finally, the key to Marquez's surreal win. It all comes down to a creative interpretation of the track limits. He cut across the pit entry grass after his crash, and it was deemed legal because he didn't touch the green paint or exceed the speed limit. This move, combined with strategic pit stops, gave Marquez a massive 12-point swing in the championship race. Don't miss our full breakdown of these incredible stories. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and stay locked in for all the latest MotoGP action. Joan Mir will start Sunday's Spanish MotoGP from 14th on the grid, after being handed a double long lap penalty for ignoring black and orange flags during final practice at Jerez. The HRC rider crashed in wet conditions, returning to the pits with visible damage to his motorcycle. Despite being shown the black flag with an orange disc, indicating mechanical issues posing a danger, Mir continued riding back to the pits, a direct violation of MotoGP regulations. Stewards cited the rule requiring riders to obey all flag signals and race direction instructions. This penalty adds to the grid penalties already assigned. Jorge Martin will drop 3 places for impeding Marc Marquez during Friday practice. Mir's penalty makes him the second rider facing a setback on the grid for Sunday's race at Jerez. Marc Marquez has snatched MotoGP pole position at a rain-soaked Jerez, ending a lengthy drought stretching back to last August. The reigning world champion battled fiercely with Johann Zarco throughout a challenging qualifying session, with Zarco initially seizing the top spot before Marquez ultimately prevailed by a mere 0.14 seconds. Marquez admitted to fearing Zarco would surpass him after a mistake at the final corner, a feeling reciprocated by Zarco, who also experienced a slide in the hairpin, missing out on pole by a narrow margin. Marquez, comfortable in mixed conditions, highlighted the pole's benefit for both races ahead. Zarco, who started 12th on Friday, expressed delight at the overnight rain and credited gaining confidence throughout qualifying, including a strategic tire choice. Rounding out the front row alongside Marquez and Zarco is Fabio Di Giannantonio, who secured a front row start and praised his team's strategic decisions and bike modifications. Championship leader Marco Bezzecchi will start 4th, while his closest rival Jorge Martin lines up 7th, but faces a 3-place grid penalty. The dramatic qualifying session sets the stage for an intriguing doubleheader at Jerez. Marc Marquez's dramatic victory at the Spanish Grand Prix is under scrutiny following accusations from Johann Zarco that the reigning MotoGP champion shouldn't have won due to a questionable pit lane entry. Marquez secured the win in a chaotic, rain-affected race at Jerez, recovering from a late crash on the final corner. However, Zarco is contesting the legality of Marquez's actions immediately after the fall. After crashing at the last corner, Marquez waited for the pack to pass before heading to the pits, but instead of taking the conventional route, he cut across the track, briefly riding on the grass, to reach the pit lane entry. While race direction did not investigate the incident, Zarco believes this maneuver should have resulted in a penalty. For me, he shouldn't win the race, because when he crashes at the last corner, it already means he had decided not to come into the pits, Zarco told Canal Plus. So if he is at turn 13 and then comes back to the pits, it means he is going back, and you don't go back on track. He added that the lack of a penalty is very strange and suggested Marquez simply benefited from luck. Marquez's win has significantly tightened the championship standings, bringing him within 24 points of leader Marco Bezzecchi. The controversy raises questions about the interpretation of the rules regarding pit lane access after a crash, and whether Marquez exploited a loophole to secure his victory. The stewards have yet to announce any further review of the incident. Marc Marquez's stunning MotoGP sprint victory at Jerez has sparked debate, but officials have confirmed the controversial maneuver that secured his win didn't break any rules. After an initial crash at the final corner while staying out on slick tires as rain began to fall, Marquez made a bold strategic decision. He cut across the pit entry grass, bypassing the standard route to quickly switch to a wet bike. This move, initially appearing questionable, proved pivotal as Brad Binder, who pitted earlier, crashed upon his return to the track. Marquez, along with Ducati's Pecco Bagnaia and VR46's Franco Morbidelli, all pitted on the same lap, ultimately dominating the podium. The key to Marquez's legality: he avoided touching the green track limit paint on pit lane entry and adhered to the speed limit. While regulations prohibit crossing the white line, that restriction applies to pit exit, not entry. Furthermore, no marshal instructions were given to Marquez following his crash, meaning he wasn't directed to avoid the shortcut. This unexpected result significantly shifts the championship standings, giving Marquez a 12-point advantage over Aprilia riders Marco Bezzecchi and Jorge Martin, despite both experiencing retirements in the Jerez sprint. Bezzecchi remains 24 points ahead, and Martin 20.